So just last month, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the largest authority in nutrition, updated their position on plant-based diets. The paper was authored by Visanto Molina, Winston Craig, and Susan Levin, who is a dietitian at the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And I've actually had the pleasure of meeting her on a few occasions. The paper was, of course, peer-reviewed by the Academy, and it's a really interesting paper. It shares a lot of useful information, so I'm going to be reviewing it all here for you guys. But first, I just want to start off by reading the abstract. It is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that appropriately planned vegetarian, including vegan diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. These diets are appropriate for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescence, older adulthood, and for athletes. Plant-based diets are more environmentally sustainable than diets rich in animal products because they use fewer natural resources and are associated with much less environmental damage. Vegetarians and vegans are at a reduced risk of certain health conditions, including ischemic heart disease, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, certain types of cancers, and obesity. Low intake of saturated fat and high intakes of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, soy products, nuts, and seeds, all rich in fiber and phytochemicals, are characteristics of vegetarian and vegan diets that produce lower total and low density lipoprotein cholesterol levels and better serum glucose control. These factors contribute to reduction of certain disease. Vegans need reliable sources of vitamin B12, such as fortified foods or supplements. So in a nutshell, what they're saying is vegan diets are healthy. They also shared some interesting facts, like 3.3% of the American adult population is vegetarian or vegan. Almost half of that is vegan. Sales of meat alternatives have increased by 8% in the past 2 years, so clearly it's becoming more popular. The American Institute for Cancer Research encourages people eat mostly a plant-based diet, and the 2015 dietary guidelines for Americans recommended vegetarian diets as one of 3 healthy dietary patterns. And school lunch menus are beginning to include more fruits, more vegetables, and more whole grains. Now, I know there are a lot of concerns regarding vegan diets, so let's start with the most popular one, protein. Vegan diets typically meet or exceed protein recommendations as long as they are sufficient in calories. A vegan diet also supplies all of the essential amino acids as long as a variety of foods are eaten. However, the authors did say that fruitarian diets are typically low in protein and other nutrients, but as long as you're eating whole grains, legumes, you're eating a variety of plant-based foods, and you're eating enough of them, there is no argument you're going to get enough protein. Another topic mentioned when vegan diets are brought up are omega-3 fatty acids. So vegans and non-vegans get about the same amount of ALA, which is a type of omega-3 fatty acid, but intakes of EPA and DHA are typically absent as they are present in animal products. This is also examined in blood and tissue levels, not just for intake levels. These long-chain fatty acids are thought of being important for the development and maintenance of the brain, retina, and cell membranes, and also beneficial for pregnancies and those with cardiovascular disease. Yet, vegan children do not appear to experience visual or mental impairment, and vegan adults have a reduced risk for cardiovascular disease. It is believed that ALA, which vegans get plenty of, is converted to EPA and DHA. It is recommended that men consume 1.6 grams a day and women consume 1.1 grams per day of ALA and include concentrated source such as seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, and walnuts. However, eating too much omega-6, which is found in a lot of vegetable oils, can suppress the conversion of ALA, so it is important to not exceed the 4-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3s. Iron is another concern that people have, typically because vegans have lower iron stores than non-vegans, but lower serum ferritin levels have been associated with less risk of developing metabolic syndrome. It is also claimed that heme iron, which is found in animal products, is more bioavailable than non-heme iron, which is found in plants, but the bioavailability of non-heme iron really depends on the amount of inhibitors such as phytates and polyphenolics and the enhancers such as vitamin C, citric acid, and other organic acids that are present in the food. So how much iron you absorb really depends on a number of factors, basically what you eat your iron with. Iron absorption also varies by serum ferritin levels. So if you have lower levels, you're going to end up absorbing way more iron than someone who has higher levels of iron. With zinc, vegans do consume about the same, if not slightly lower than non-vegans, but there does not seem to be any adverse health effects from this. The authors also mentioned that zinc deficiency is not really present in Western vegetarians. Now, if you want to make sure that you're eating enough zinc in your diet, vegan sources include soy products, legumes, grains, seeds, and nuts. And also cooking and sprouting techniques, as well as leavening bread, can increase the bioavailability of zinc. Iodine should be something that we should all be conscious of on a vegan diet, because if you don't consume enough iodine, you're putting your thyroid's health at risk. Sources of iodine include iodized salt in sea vegetables. It was also advised that vegan women of childbearing age should supplement with 150 milligrams of iodine per day. So definitely don't neglect consuming enough iodine, whether it's through iodized salt or the sea vegetables, making some sushi or nori wraps, whatever it may be sure you're getting enough. Alright, so let's talk about calcium, which has been synonymously associated with dairy. Plant-based sources of calcium have been thought of being less bioavailable than dairy products. However, this is more associated with the food's content of oxalates, phytates, and fiber, which can reduce the amount of calcium absorbed. But calcium from low oxalate vegetables such as kale, turnip greens, Chinese cabbage, and bok choy is 50% absorbable, which is more than cow's milk. Other sources include calcium-said tofu, fortified plant-based milks, white beans, almonds, tahini, figs, and oranges. So there is plenty of calcium in a plant-based diet. You do not need to drink dairy for calcium. Also related to bone health is vitamin D. So vitamin D on a vegan diet is really affected by how much sun exposure you're getting and how much vitamin D supplements or fortified foods you're consuming. How much vitamin D you're producing from sunlight alone varies by many factors such as the season, skin pigmentation, latitude, and sunscreen use, to name a few. In terms of fortification and supplementation, there are two forms of vitamin D available. Vitamin D2, which can be from animal or plant-based sources, and vitamin D3, which is produced with UV irradiation of ergosterol from yeast. So at low doses, they both seem to absorb equally well, but at higher doses, vitamin D2 has been shown to be more effective. So if you guys want to learn more about vitamin D, whether you're getting enough, whether you need a supplement, definitely check out the video I made on vitamin D. And last but not least is vitamin B12. Arguably the most important nutrient to concentrate on a vegan diet, simply because it's not in plant-based foods, but is actually made by microbes. While there are some sources like fermented foods, nori, various algae, and unfortified yeast claim to contain some vitamin B12, they are not practical or reliable sources. The authors and myself both recommend consuming fortified foods or B12 supplement as a reliable source. Research suggests that the consequences of vitamin B12 can be serious and life-threatening and cause poor cognition, failure to thrive in small children, stroke, dementia, poor bone health, and more. In my opinion, I think supplementation is the way to go. It's easy, it's cheap, it's a great way to monitor exactly how much B12 you're getting, and you don't have to worry about any consequences. And in terms of the different forms, there is cyanocobalamin, methylcobalamin, and hydroxycobalamin, and they are all thought of being effective. And if you guys want to learn more about vitamin B12, check out the video I made on that topic. The authors also talked about the therapeutic aspects of vegan diets. Vegans tend to have the lowest BMI out of any other dietary group. The prevalence of overweight or obesity in vegetarians was 25% versus those who ate animal products. Vegetarians have 13 to 19% decreased risk of developing cardiovascular disease and 32% lower risk of hospitalization or death from heart disease than non-vegetarians. Vegans have half the prevalence of diabetes and 77% reduced risk of developing diabetes than meat eaters. Vegan diets have reported a 35% lower risk for prostate cancer and an 18% lower overall cancer incidence. As you can see, vegan diets are a great way for preventing chronic diseases. They also discuss vegan diets for the various stages of life. For pregnancy, they advise special consideration for iron, zinc, vitamin B12, and EPA and DHA, which is typically recommended anyway. For infants, breastfeeding was recommended for the first 6 months of life, and again, this is typically recommended. For children and adolescents, foods should be rich in calories, protein, iron, vitamin B12, vitamin D, and zinc. In older adults, caloric requirements decrease while their requirements for protein, calcium, vitamin D, vitamin B6, and vitamin B12 increase. Nothing new here, and these are just standard recommendations for these various stages of life. So there you have it. That is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the largest authority in nutrition, fully supporting vegan diets. As long as you eat fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts and seeds, some sea vegetables, fortified foods if you choose, or supplementing vitamin B12, you're going to get plenty of all the nutrients that is required on a vegan diet. Don't let anybody tell you that a vegan diet is deficient in this or you're not going to get enough of that, because the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics fully supports vegan diets. And not only will you be doing your health a huge favor if you stop eating animal products, but also the environment and of course the animals as well. So there's a lot of points to consider when adopting a vegan diet. So if you guys want to read the article yourself, the link will be in the description, and post any comments or questions, thoughts as you have down below. You guys can follow me on social media at Bananiac, and be sure to subscribe for more videos on nutrition and plant-based diets. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video.